Okay, this next video I want to watch with you guys, I think we'll like it. I'm super curious what it's going to be about because we have reviewed Dr. John Deloney before, and he did a really great job, and we really loved the video we had seen with him. And so I'm excited to watch this video with you guys. The title is I think my husband is bisexual. What should I do? Guys, think about it. There is a bubble in the world where you're in a heterosexual relationship and your wife might find out that you're bisexual. I have had so many great people in my life who are in the closet about being bisexual, especially to their heterosexual female partners. Some women won't date men who are bisexual because the women will think they'll leave them for men or they feel like they're in competition with them. And obviously, I'm not in that bubble, right? Like Brittany, even when I'm hopping in most of the bubbles with my friends, the idea of your guy being bisexual is so, yeah, like I'm in queer circles a lot. It makes a lot of sense. And especially since I see it as not that he has to be bisexual to be confident, because my partner's not bisexual, but it is one of those things where I really appreciate how confident my partner is in his sexuality or his gender or whatever, that it's not a threat to him to have me be bisexual or to be around queer people or for him to have like gay friends. Like it's nice when you're around people that are comfortable in their skin. And in this situation, what if you're married and you find out your partner is like a sexual orientation you didn't realize they were? You know what I mean? And that's interesting to me. I could never marry someone and not feel like I know their sexual orientation. So again, like for me, I married my partner and he's straight, but it would be really interesting if he was like years later, he's like, "Hey, I think I'm bisexual." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, okay. Well, that doesn't change anything because we're monogamous. But okay, cool. Now we can be like a queer couple." But like, realistically, there's no realistic world where that happens. Like he's old, he knows his sexual orientation. And so, but it would be shocking. Because it wouldn't be off-putting though. This title insinuates off-puttingness. And I'm curious to see if she's going to ask, should I leave him if he's bisexual? Which is a thing that people do. They leave their partners. Bi men are the most attractive. Honestly, true. True. I didn't even end up with one, but true. But you know what I mean? I'm really excited to watch this. Let's see if she ends up saying, should I break up with him? Can you imagine? I couldn't even imagine like breaking up with someone over a sexual orientation they'll never act on. Oh, but I will say this, even as a bisexual or pansexual woman, one of the questions I do get from people is, aren't you going to miss X gender? And it's like, well, no. Well, one, because, I got me a boy girl, but like also, no. Like there's not, like again, I'm dating for the consciousness that is this person and I'm pansexual, so it doesn't matter their gender. But no, I'm not. I'm gonna miss women in a way, like because maybe, but like in a very superficial way. It's not even deep, right? Because I don't think the gender matters when you're in love. But in a superficial way, I think I could miss the image of me with a woman. Does that make sense? Or a person who's female presenting. I think there's that you miss. I think you miss the image of something. Me, I think I miss the image of it, but that's so superficial. It's not about love. And so I think people forget when they're asking that question, you're not saying, oh, will you miss this person that you love who happens to be a woman? You're saying, do you miss what I think a female body represents? And so it's just one of those things that I think people should pay attention to, especially if you marry a guy who's bisexual and you're worried he's going to leave you for a man. Remember that he's into women as well. And that could happen, but he could have done that with another woman. It's so funny to me that people think bisexual people are more likely to leave you for the opposite sex, but heterosexuals be doing it left and right, girls. So, okay. Okay, let's go ahead and watch this. This is Dr. John Deloney, and I will link his video in the chat.
All right, let's run out to the 512 in Austin, Texas, and talk to Allie. What's up, Allie?
Hey,
I'm so excited.
It's awesome to talk to you. I have binged all of your shows, and I'm totally loving it. I'm totally nervous about the topic, but I'm not nervous about talking to you. So
awesome.
I feel like you're an older brother at this point.
Aww.
That is the
but
nicest
the topic is pretty heavy.
That's the nicest thing somebody has said to me in a long time, especially because my show team thinks that wearing chain wallets is stupid, and I disagree. So thank you.
Well, I'm going to vote with them on this one. But
No!
everything
Yeah,
else, you're like
I'm sorry, John. I'm gonna agree. Chain wallets, guys.
the cool big brother.
You're from Austin, which is basically Portland of the South. I thought
I know. I'm supposed to be okay with it.
I thought
but...
we were on this together, but fair enough. All right, so what's up, Allie? Let's do it.
Okay, so I
the
wrote
volume.
out my
Is
little
it too loud?
prefacing question, and then I'm just going to really live organically in this conversation because I'm super nervous about the topic, like I said.
Cool, let's do it. Let's do it.
I have a tendency to ignore
Sorry, I just realized they're in Texas. So
red flags and focus on people's potential. So I have committed to following your advice. Whatever you tell me on the show, like you could tell me to do the chicken dance on the top of my car at ATB, and I'm going to do it.
Okay, you need to know 100% that's going to be in the things I tell you to do.
Okay, well, I'm going to start practicing.
All right. Hey,
but
hold on.
My question.
Do me a favor before you do the question. Will you do me a huge favor?
Uh-huh.
I want you to take as deep a breath as humanly possible. Take it and hold it, okay? Ready? 1, 2, take it. Hold it. 1, 2, and then let it out. All right, here's my promise with you, okay?
Okay.
I can hear in you that you're nervous to talk about what you're about to talk about, and here's my promise. My promise is whatever you say, I'm gonna be with you, okay?
Okay.
It's 100% my promise.
It's heavy.
No weird,
I
no
feel
judgment.
my heart pounding.
I got it. And I know that it's heavy, but I want you to know that you're not going to endure this heaviness by yourself. Cool?
Okay.
yes, for those asking, this is the same guy we reviewed in the past who did the "Should I leave my husband?" who's was in an accident conversation. Yes,
Yes.
that's him.
It's awesome.
Awesome. Okay, so go for it. I'm here.
Okay. So the heart of my question is, how do I help my husband to feel less shame about his sexuality? And I say that because, like, for years, my closest friends have all asked me, like, hey, is he, like, bisexual? Is he, questioning things? And I never really gave it much thought. But, we've been married for, 7 years now. And over the last few years, it's just kind of, like, reared its head a little bit more and come to maybe be, like, it could be a real issue. Without getting too graphic, like, he has fetishes that I'm uncomfortable with, things that he enjoys and wants to do that I don't. And when we fight or we're
Hold on,
emotional,
he has what?
without getting too graphic, like, he has fetishes that I'm uncomfortable
He probably doesn't have a fetish. But
with,
okay.
things that he enjoys and wants to do that I don't. And when we fight or we're emotionally distant, which does happen a lot, he buys toys to satisfy his own needs, and then he hides
Great.
it from me.
Oh,
And when I inevitably find out, he has a lot of shame and embarrassment. And he ends up turning that around onto me and getting mad at me and saying it's my fault that he does it or that he has to hide it or that I caused it in the first place. We were fighting and he had to do it. And I think that really the heart of the issue and a lot of why we fight a lot is that I think he does struggle with his own sexuality, but I think he feels
can I just say something? It's so interesting to me. I knew this. I know this heterosexual couple. Well, I guess I knew, but I knew this heterosexual couple, straight couple. Okay, the husband is literally straight, but straight men do like their booties played with, and he was very open about his use of anal toys, and his wife literally didn't mind. She actually kind of liked that he was so secure, and it was really nice to see, like, as a person who's so sex positive, it was so nice to see as a couple them reassure each other that, like, yeah, pleasure is pleasure. I want you to feel good. And I think it's really kind of lovely. She needs to peg him. Yeah, my boy needs to be pegged, yo. And one of the problems I see with a lot of heterosexual women, and this is okay, I need to know. I need to know from the heterosexual girls why you are all, I'm generalizing, so uncomfortable around sex. I cannot explain to you how many problems my heterosexual girlfriends have around sex. And it's like, I'm not telling you to be a pick me. I'm not telling you to do something you don't want to do. I'm not telling you to pretend you're comfortable when you're not. But I am shook at how many straight women have so much problem. They have so many problems around sex, around being sexual, around doing things like pegging. That's why I kind of appreciate Broad City opening that conversation up in their own weird way. But it is like one of those things where I am so just like put off by straight women, and they're something about certain bubbles of straight women, they become so insecure around it. And I'm like, why? Like, why are you doing this to yourselves? And I wonder what it is. Does anyone have any insight? And again, it's hard to say which bubble it is, but there's definitely a bubble of straight women who just have such a hard time with doing unique sexual activity. You know what I mean? I just can't understand it. I had a friend one time who, like, even playing with a vibrator was like she couldn't do it. And I was like, "Bro, just play with a vibrator, learn how your clitoris works." And she was just like, I can't do it." And I was like, "Oh, bro, how do you live, bro? How do you live?" And then like other people would even like they'll come to me in calls and they're like, "I'm trying to get my girl to be into anal, but she just doesn't seem open to it." And I'm like, "Well, let me talk to her." And it's always like, "I'm afraid he won't find me attractive." I was like, "Are you fucking listening to yourself? Your guy wants to do it. He's trying to tell you this turns him on, and you're afraid he won't find you attractive by fulfilling a fantasy of his? Make the math make sense. Make the math make sense. Aren't men the same but similar though? Aren't men in the same bubble similar though? I suppose. I know that, okay, yes, there's a group of men that don't want to do any booty stuff, but there are women who are with the men who don't even want to do booty stuff, who still don't want to do other stuff. Do you get me? The women who are in the bubble of the men who also don't want to explore don't even want to do the basic exploration that the men who are into, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying there's a group of women out there who don't even want to explore with the basics. And I think it's because, from my understanding from the women I've heard from, they don't want to be seen as unattractive because they think it will be like embarrassing or something, which is so interesting. That is so interesting to me. C King with the super chat, thank you so much. This is a perfect example of why homophobia is bad since people hold repressed desires that attempt to act later, which results in heavier consequences. Agree. Agree. Absolutely. And yeah, they probably do have some sort of trauma around insecurity or feeling cute. Maybe it's a previous, relationship they're having or a relationship they've had. What's the age range of the women? It could have been with upbringing around shame. True. You know what I mean? These women I'm thinking of they would have been between the ages of like 21 to 35, 40 maybe. So not a wide range, but a specific range. And then they would have been millennials, not Gen Zers, and not Gen X or baby boomers. Brittany in another universe, you're a perfect sex therapist. Thank you. I thought about it, girls. I thought about it. I thought about it. Yeah, I don't know. And okay, this sounds like religious issues, trauma, insecurities. Definitely, a lot of these women I'm talking about are secularists. So I think it's insecurities and shame around being attractive or being wanted after, because sometimes there is that story, it could happen, where maybe you do anal for the first time with your partner and maybe it's not as clean and maybe there's some shame around that, which if you're going to play adventurously in bed, you need to be emotionally ready for things not to be as sanitary sometimes. There are ways to prevent that, but not everybody has those tools. You know what I mean? So interesting. Yeah, I can understand butt anxiety too, guys. I understand like booty anxiety. Like, I'm not here to judge, but it is still interesting to me, I guess, because oh man, there's so many things that could be going on. Like, there's so many ways to use toys with your partners. It's so intimate. I'm a big fan of it. Like, go buy some lube, go buy some toys. There's so much like different ways to explore with a person. If you're, religious, I get it, but if you're a secularist, you're missing out. What do you think led to the belief that they would be seen as unattractive if they performed these acts? Well, I'll tell you a story. One time, I was in a position where, your guy's laying on his back and you turn around and you sit down and then your booty's in his face. And I was like, but but what if it's not cute? And he's like, what if it's not cute? I was like, yeah, what if it's not cute? And then I was like, wait, that's like the dumbest thought I've ever had. But it makes a lot of sense when you think all you're doing is like booty in the face and you're like, what if it's not cute? You feel me? And then you realize like, no, no, no. Oh, well, let me tell you actually how I broke out of that insecurity. I had a girl do the same position on me and I was like, oh no, this is hot. Okay. And then I recorded myself in the same position and I was like, oh no, it's really sexy. Okay, got it. but I couldn't visualize it. I actually couldn't visualize how it would be attractive. And I was like, I don't know. I feel stupid. Cause like you know, when you're being sexy, you want to feel sexy. So I had a girl do it with me and I recorded myself and I realized like, oh, okay, it is cute. So maybe it's that where they can't imagine it would be cute because you don't want to think you're having sex and you're ugly. Because, okay, I'll tell you, one of my female friends has like this deep insecurity of like, what if she thinks she's being sexy and in the guy's head he's just thinking like, oh, I hate the way she moans and I hate the way she like moves her body. And I'm sitting there like, well, to be honest with you, I think when you love somebody, everything they do is kind of sexy. But I could understand that insecurity. Like I can understand that fear, but I really do think if you're really into somebody, you know what I mean? We are just sometimes overthinking too much. True. True. You know what I mean? Dr. Ruth, what a blast from the past, bro. My mom and I were obsessed. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's probably just like a fear. You know what I mean? Let's see what this girl's reason is. You know what I mean? Let's see if this girl hopefully isn't just like having homophobia issues, because that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of the homophobia issues. What if she's treating his bisexuality like a sin, like something he has to stay away from? You know what I mean? So let's find out. I hope that's not the case.
Feels shame in talking about it. And my question is, how do I help him see that I'm a safe space to talk about that and that doesn't change that I love him?
Sure. Well, thank you for you laid that out really beautifully. So thank you for that. Can I ask some probing questions?
Absolutely.
Okay. Um,
Can he ask some probing questions, Dr. John? That was too perfect.
question number one is, besides particular sex acts that he enjoys that you're not into, and besides his going to get sex toys and to assumedly masturbate himself, right? Take care of himself in any number of ways.
Mhm.
Um, that's a very limited scope for why you would think, I think my husband's gay, I think my husband's bisexual, or I think my husband's not attracted to me. Whatever's there, that sense of shame. There, paint me a fuller picture here.
Thank you.
He does have a really deep appreciation of like the human body, I guess you could say, like all human bodies. And like he comments in a different way than I hear most men comment when he sees a guy who's really ripped or
Okay, wait. Discord says, is it a safe space to talk about it if she's going to go on a public live stream and tell everyone watching? I know. Like, what if one of her friends or family hears her? Guys, one time I was on the radio because I used to call into radio shows all the time. And my friend's dad was like, hey, I heard you on the radio. And I was like, what? Why were you even listening to Rush Limbaugh? And he was like, I can listen to who I want. I was like, because he was a Democrat. I was like, oh. And then we laughed. I was like, you heard me there? And he's like, yeah, I heard you. And I was like, that's so funny. Because, yeah, like, what if somebody's listening to this and they're listening to, like, they're hearing it? I just want him to ask, like, are you homophobic? Is that the problem?
he'll point out attractive men probably more often than attractive women.
Okay.
He like makes like certain friends on social media that he just really keeps track of that are also like, or they are gay, and he seems to be drawn to them and really seek their, like when they tell him.
I wonder if he's looking for is he looking for a queer community? Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. Is he a queer kid? Queer man stuck in a marriage where his partner isn't queer or respects his queerness? Okay, I'm gonna project a little bit. I will tell you that one of the reasons I love my husband and my partner, and she just makes the best wife and he's so wonderful, is because he respects my queerness. Because he acknowledges it. He doesn't deny it at any point in this marriage. And if I was in a marriage that denied my queerness to me and my love for the community and my desire to be around the community and listen to the community, it would feel like torture. It would just feel like torture. What if he's in a relationship with somebody who can't understand that he needs the queer community? And they're in Texas.
He's attractive. That's like a really big sense of pride for him. And like, he goes kind of looking for that from that population, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just seeking affirmation. Absolutely. So, and by the way, everybody listening to the show seeks affirmation from somewhere or from multiple places, right?
Yeah.
So there's there's two directional challenges here. Directional challenge number one is I'm assuming, tell me if I'm wrong, you have shame that somehow you're an unsafe place for the man that you love to land. True or false?
True.
How long has that been going on? And basically the bigger question is, how long has he been keeping secrets from you that you are unknowing? He doesn't know this, but you're carrying the weight of those secrets too. How long has that been happening? Your whole marriage?
Oh,
Your forever?
yeah. Yeah, pretty much. And
So
it,
he
like
didn't.
I said, I'm really good at ignoring red flags and seeing potential. So in the beginning, when it would happen, I was just like, well, he just needs to know that I love and support him, and I just need to love him through this, and then he'll open up and trust me with the truth. And then it was just like he kept lying about things, and it's not just sex things that he.
Somebody asked if he came out to her before they got married. Is she saying that he didn't come out to her, and then that was how she I'm losing track of the conversation. This is a gay person needs to be asking questions right now. Did they have the conversation? Is it something shameful? Is she saying that, oh, I knew he was harboring this issue and I just thought if I loved him and supported him, we could tackle it together? Is the bisexuality itself something she wants to change and tackle? Or what? Like, right? Like, I'm hearing a lot of, I have so many questions.
He would lie about. There's other things that he, like parts of his identity, he tries to keep hidden from me. And so I've always really from the beginning just been like, well, if I just keep trying, then he'll be open with me. And that hasn't worked out great.
So one of the things that gets lost in the gender conversation, by the way, I've had this conversation, I can't even count. So I want you to know you're not alone. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That gets lost in the gender conversation is,
Well, it's not a gender
it's a very
conversation, it's an
delicate
orientation
thing because there's a ton of shame and there's also a ton of, if the wrong person finds out, you are kicked out of your home, you're kicked out of your religious group, you're kicked out of your school. I mean, like, there's a true penalty to be paid, right?
Right.
And often kids that recognize they are different, especially when it comes to who they're attracted to when they're young, they learn really quick to shut up about that. And they wrestle with that. And they have been mining themselves and their community and what's okay and who loves me and who's safe for years, right? And so it's easy for you to go, all of this rests on me. And I'm also going to challenge the other side of the equation. He got married to you. He looked you in the eye and said, you and I are ride or die till the end of time. And then maybe even beyond that, if you believe in the right romance novel, right? Like, we're in this thing. And so there is a price to be paid on both sides. One, you better not say anything. And I attached myself to somebody that I said I was going to be connected to intimately, not just sexually, but spiritually, right? They're going to know me. I'm going to know them because we're one forever. And so you carry the burden too.
And we have been separated.
Okay.
We actually just got back together, and a big part of it was because of the hiding and the lies. But my bigger problem with the hiding and lies is that he makes it sound like it's my fault. He turns it around.
Oh, YouTube's gonna stop my stream. Your stream temporarily blocked. We've just no, stop. Oh, this is so annoying. This is so annoying. This is so annoying. Ugh, why is this? I'm so annoyed. This is so frustrating. I'm so annoyed. Damn. I'm so annoyed. Okay. Hold on. I'm so annoyed. Damn. Okay. Hello. I'm back, right? All right. I'm back. Hi. I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed. God, that's so lame. It's me. It's something about my channel. Maybe I can ask somebody to say something to YouTube. It's got to be my channel. Papa Gut doesn't have this problem. I'm having this problem. Papa Gut says like I know YouTube didn't change its rules. What it is, it's like there it's from my understanding, it's the content creators put like a notification and maybe even their people are notified when somebody's watching and they put a copyright claim on the video and then after I have to go through and appeal it and every time I appeal it it's okay. But for me, it said the same thing. It said, "Hey, you're being blocked because of copyright, blah blah blah," and then it's like you're basically, I have to prove it's fair use. I'm so annoyed. Ask Papa got to watch it, and then you watch him. Yeah, perfect. I'm I'm really annoyed. Like, why does this keep happening? It happened with Jubilee videos. I could even watch that. Maybe it's my channel. Like sometimes people say that if you've been on YouTube a long time, your channel gets blacklisted. And so it's one of those things where you like if you start a new channel, you'll probably won't have it happen. Um Man, that really sucks. I want to watch this video with you guys. I wonder if I watch it but I pause it and long like I cut it more. We're 8 minutes in, and I wonder if I just didn't stop it enough times. Oh, I'm so annoyed. I really want to finish this. I'm so annoyed. I'm trying to think. Okay. A part of me said thinks we should try to listen to it and then pause it. Maybe I'm just not like pausing it enough for the like the problem is like why does the thing happen? I don't know why it happens. If it's only audio, does it work? I don't know. I'm so annoyed. I wonder if it's audio, but I wonder if the audio catches it. Okay, let's try audio only. Yeah, you have to talk at least every 30 seconds. Damn, maybe it is that. Maybe like it just especially with people wanting to crack down on people reacting. Okay, let's try to do it and I'll just make sure to pause and then we'll see if it does it. But if it leaves the stream, worst case I'll start a new stream, but it should be fine. Let's try it this way. And then let me see if I can contact one of my friends at YouTube and see if they can ask YouTube why that happens. Yeah, that freaking sucks, bro. The problem is like I don't get a representative at YouTube until you hit like 1 million subscribers. So like I'm definitely not gonna have like a contact at YouTube to help with these kinds of things. That sucks. Okay, let's try it. Worst case, I don't know.
Down and blames me. So then I feel like I'm
just kidding.
going crazy. I question reality. Like,
yes, it's
did
gaslighting
this
at its
thing
finest.
really happen?
It's gaslighting.
Yeah,
at its finest,
it is.
yes.
And,
well, it's not gaslighting if he doesn't fully intend it, but I think he's feeling gaslit in his relationship.
and he learned that from his mom, who's the shame and whatever.
Oh, never mind. Maybe his mom's just toxic.
But I think he wants to be better, but he doesn't know how. And when he's tried therapy in the
Mm.
past, I think even in therapy, it's like so much shame that he can't be his true self and really be vulnerable with a counselor.
Well, the thing is like, again, is he allowed to be his true self in this marriage? Or is he, I'm telling you, he's a baby queer who never got a chance to be gay and he misses the community. Like, does she go to Pride with him? Would she go to gay events with him? Maybe he does miss men. Maybe he never had men. Maybe he never got that experience. I will say it would be pretty hard to imagine never having the experience. At least I've been with women, I've dated women. At least I know I've been with non-binary people. I have like a real life that I've lived. So I don't feel too bad about not having those things. But I wonder how I would feel if I never had it.
So why'd you
So
go back?
we've,
Why'd
committed
you go
to this.
back? Because let's put sexuality and gender aside. You're married to someone who lies to you to your face and has for years.
Mhm.
And my
Yeah.
guess is there infidelity involved that you know of?
No,
Are you
not
positive?
specific that no, I'm not. And I will be honest and say that I have occasionally gone and gotten myself tested
Okay.
just out of fear.
So that tells me you're being very kind of almost coy on the.
Yeah, see, this is crazy. If you were in a marriage where you felt a need to go get tested without telling your partner, like get it on your own, can you like, I could never. That would give me so much anxiety. And also, can I be honest with you? I'm not sure. Wow, that's a terrible way to frame her marriage. Yeah, I don't love the way she's even telling this story because again, I don't hear a lot of actual pro LGBT energy in here. So it sounds like she is judging him. It sounds like he is being shamed by his wife to some extent because she's not saying, I'm super pro gay, I love him, like don't care that he's gay. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not hearing anything from her perspective that says I make him comfortable yet. This is why already I am concerned. Look, the titles, I think my husband is bisexual. What should I do? That implies, which is Dr. John's decision, right? Or his team's, that like that's the problem. And again, that's my problem. Is she literally saying, I'm going to be here and support you through this hard time of being bisexual? So you're not, you know what I mean? I don't trust her not to actually be judging her husband. You know what I mean? I feel like we are making him the bad guy. Not sure how I feel about that. Yeah, I feel like that too. I feel like
On the call. There's something in your gut that says, whoa. Is
Yeah.
there pornography involved?
Oh, tons.
Okay.
And in the beginning, like our sex life was so crazy, and I just thought it was great that this guy was super into me and found me so attractive. But we were
Yeah.
having sex 4 and 5 times a day, every day for years.
nice.
And then when it started to dwindle off, I thought something was wrong with me. But that's when like the porn started getting to be a really big issue, and he was more interested in that than in having sex with me.
Okay.
Interesting. Maybe, and I'm pausing it so much right now so I don't get in trouble, guys, but you want to hear me talk. Let's go. I do wonder if it's a combination of things, right? Because porn addiction is real and people have a lot of problems around porn addiction, right? It's like a stimulant or a dopamine hit. I get it. Like I understand, or a stimulation. I understand that could be a problem. My concern, it's almost like they're open but closed. It's like couples that are like, oh yeah, we talk about porn, but they don't have like a real conversation. I was just talking about Farm Brother about this. I was just catching up with him, and in his marriage, watching porn is considered cheating. Now, of course, they don't on a spectrum of cheating, but they do consider when they watch porn, if one of them laps, it would be him, not her. Obviously, she doesn't watch porn. I'm sorry, she's not that kind of girl. But like if he ever watches porn at all in their marriage, it would be considered cheating, but not to the extent of sleeping with somebody else, because that's a different kind of cheating. But to them, they want to hold it to like a really high cheating, you know what I mean? Versus me, I'm just like, oh, hey, do you want to watch porn together? Or hey, like, do we like the same? I don't know. I like to exchange porn with my partner. But again, I'm pro sex work. I'm a sex worker. So like, I'm obviously pro porn. But I can understand how in some places porn is like a big deal. And it sounds like her husband has problems with impulse problems, or at least a bad relationship with himself. And it probably is manifesting in porn and social media. But yeah, I'm getting the vibe that she's not seeing him the way he needs to be seen, and he's not expressing himself in a way that can be seen. You know what I mean?
And so, the toys, and it just snowballed. So I'll say that I went back to him because I do love him and I
Sure.
do see the potential in him.
Sure.
I see what his mom broke in him, and
But you can't fix that.
sorry, I get it.
Allie,
I'm getting emotional.
Yeah, no. Of course you are. You love this man, and
You love this man.
you're hurting.
Does she? I mean, she does love him, but does she love him or the idea of him? She probably loves him. Here's a question for all my queers. Can your partner love you if they don't see your queer side? Because I will say for a fact, if my partner could not see my queer part, I would just die inside. Because it just it would be so hard for me to feel like a person. It's just too a part of my trauma, too a part of my life, too a part of my, everything. My whole life revolves around my queerness in so many ways. I mean, my literal personality disorder revolves around my queerness. I cannot not be seen for my queerness. So I don't know if this would be a deal breaker for me. When I say I want at least 80% or above of being seen, it's I don't need you to see every part of me. You know what I mean? But I need you to see my gay part. That's one of my parts you got to be able to see. Because if you can't see that, I'm going to feel invalidated and it's going to feel exactly like it felt growing up. You know what I mean? You mean if you're hiding it? No. Now, he sounds like he hid it at the beginning of his marriage. I will say that. You know what I mean? I don't like this guy, the podcast guy. He kind of searing her and knowing she said earlier, I would dance on a car if you said so. He's using that. I mean, to some extent, he's not asking the questions I hoped he would have asked. Are you, the problem is their audience is primarily more leaning conservative than not. So I wonder if they're being careful about the way they're talking so they don't come out straight up anti-LGBT. And to be fair, he did mention that LGBT kids do suffer. So he's aware, but it almost feels like they're avoiding the conversation the way religious people do. And not that I don't know anything about Dr. John's religious status. I don't know if he is religious, but I know that primarily he's associated with Dave Ramsey and a little bit more conservatism. My parents love this part of the internet. So I wouldn't be surprised if also the conversation is being steered in a way that can't even be had fully. Because again, if a queer person was on the show, they'd just be like, oh, did he come out to you? Did you know beforehand? Was it your goal to shut it down? Or is it your goal to, it sounds like she knows he's on social media though, liking gay people. So she must be okay with it, or is she not okay with it? I can't get a handle on whether or not she's actually okay with it or not. That's what I'm confused about. Because if she was super pro LGBT, but then literally noticed her husband has a problem, that'd be different. But I can't tell, is the problem stemming from the fact that he genuinely doesn't feel safe, or because they don't know how to handle it? Something's off.
Yeah.
But you can't fix what mom broke.
For sure.
Right.
You can hold his
Your
hand.
partners are not your therapists.
But I want to be a safe landing place, and I don't know how to do that.
I know, but he hasn't chosen you as that place.
He is religious. It's a requirement for working for Dave Ramsey. Even the partners, though, because I know he has his own, this is his own channel. Wait, does he have to be religious to work for him? Dave Ramsey is openly religious and literally had a woman fired. No, he had a man fired because she had an affair in her marriage. I thought it was a man. Either way, yeah, which I'm kind of about. Can I be real with you? I feel like if you do cheat, you should get fired. Not literally. I don't actually think that. I think you could be really good at your job and really bad in your relationship. But a part of me loves that work environment. I'm not even going to lie to you. A part of me would love working for a company that fired cheaters. And homophobes. Literally, I would love to work for a company that fired cheaters and homophobes and transphobes. But that's the thing is we can't live in that kind of world. But that's my dream company. If I started a company, this is why I don't work with people. I would want to fire you if you were a homophobe or a transphobe, or if you were a cheater. I would want to fire you. This is why I work alone. You know what I'm saying?
And that's one of the hardest things I can say out loud to somebody in your situation. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. He hasn't chosen you.
Ooh.
Yeah, you're right.
And you've spent the last X number of years sacrificing your own intimate connection, sacrificing your own romantic relationship with him, sacrificing your marriage, and then deeper than that, your own value. Yeah.
Yeah.
But did she know? Do you edit your own videos? Yes. I had a wonderful editor in the past. He was really, really great. But honestly, I just like can't afford it. I can't afford to pay somebody else. So I edit all my shit, like the streams. Thank you for joining the Patreon, join the Discord. I edit all my stuff. I do not sleep. Thank you for contributing to my channel. Thank you. Thank you.
You were once a.
And I see that. I feel like I'm withering away. I feel like I'm not the same person that I was.
Hold on. You are withering away. And this is the. Man, I don't know, cause a bunch of drama on this show, but this is where the gender not the gender, but the sexuality conversation gets so blown up. It becomes so nuclear that the dishonesty and the pornography and the potential
Dr. John, don't be a conservative right now.
infidelity.
Is he about to blame the queers for infidelity when the straight statistics are outrageous? And wait, is he going to blame the straights for making the queers lie? Wait.
All gets wrapped up with in this other conversation. It's not.
Oh, good job.
I think I excuse the dishonesty as I just feel bad for his shame. And
Okay, wait. It sounded like he was saying they're two different conversations. Wait. I think he was saying they're two different conversations, but she cut him off. I think he's trying to say that the reason there's so much dishonesty is because we force them to be dishonest by telling them to hide themselves. Is that what he was saying? Is that me looking at this in an optimistic light?
I want to believe he hasn't cheated on me. I want to believe all of these things.
But you don't.
When I catch like he bought a toy and I find out there's so much embarrassment. We can't have a conversation. We can talk about so many things in our sex life and we have conversation.
It's okay. Future Brittany here. Stream is done. For some reason, we couldn't finish this video together on stream. It kept getting taken down. I'm not sure why. So I'm going to record my reaction to finish it out and hope YouTube realizes it's fair use and I'm able to post this for you guys later. So let's see what Dr. John ended up advising this woman to do with her queer husband.
He shuts down and he won't talk to me. And he's just like, oh, it's fine. I just fell off the wagon. It is what it is. I'm going to get back on the wagon and I won't do it again. And
But in a safe relationship, there's not a wagon to get on and off of. There's a conversation to be had, right? And I'm going to go as far to say if people are into weird things, and you talk about that with your spouse, right? You talk about that with your partner. You have that conversation. But he hasn't chosen you. And at some point, you said you feel like you're withering away. I'm hearing it on this call. You're like one of those movies where
I love that he's being so empathetic towards her and so considerate towards her, but I am a little upset that he's not asking her more details. Is this the whole call? Maybe it went on longer. I've heard, I could be wrong, that Dr. John's calls actually can go on for a very long time and then they cut it down for the show and for the clips. So maybe there's a full version of this somewhere.
There's a ghost that comes back and then the time starts running out and they start getting thinner and thinner. That's what's happening to you. And at least right now, it's not because he might be gay or might not be gay or might be experimenting or might be bisexual. That's not it. It's that you are married to someone who's lying to you. You're married to someone who is more into pornography than he is to you. Who is not reciprocating how much of themselves they're putting on the table for the sake of this marriage.
Absolutely. And my closest friends have said that this is not a, equal effort marriage.
Not even close.
The problem is I would like to know how it started off. They must have started off compatible. She said that they did, but they also started off rough. So again, I want to hear and I want to see some sort of answer to where was it always like this from day one? Was it literally like this from day one? Because that's kind of intense. And then if it was like this from day one, why did she sign up for this? And then if she said it was for his potential, that's kind of fair. But at the same time, that's kind of overpromising to him. Saying, I can accept you for this thing that you're going through, but only because I think you're going to get over it. And this is the mistake I say people make is they live for people's potential. They date people and say, I can love you for who you are, but also I hope you change into somebody different so I can be with you. And I think you should be really honest with your partners and say, hey, I really love who you are. as a person, but also I'm kind of hoping you change into a better version of yourself, because the version you are right now, it's actually a little bit too much for me, and I'm not sure that I can commit to you. Is that fair? And then the person will decide if that's fair or not.
And let's say in the same way that he saw potential, you saw potential in him, he saw potential in you. Maybe she's going to be the one that helps me because I don't want that, whatever the conversation he's had in his soul for however many years. And maybe his mom beat him up so bad emotionally, right? All those things can be true.
Mm.
And what he is carrying is so heavy that at this point he has chosen to not set it down because he doesn't know how.
Mm. He does sound like
Yeah.
Fine.
trapped in the loop.
He can
of
do
it.
that. And you don't have to be a part of that.
Oh, interesting that in sickness and in health, but not when your partner's queer. Because if I remember correctly, he recommended that a woman stays committed to her husband. Well, I guess I could see it because this could be abuse. Okay, if we consider the situation abusive, obviously she doesn't have to go down this journey with him. Okay, because that's my values too. My values is in sickness and in health. But if there's abuse, then we have to talk about divorce or at least separation, which they were recently separated. Okay, so I could see Dr. John's concern with this being abusive and possibly if he is having affairs, he could be spreading STIs, but she's been getting tested. And who knows, maybe he's not having an affair. Maybe that's why he's drowning a little bit, because he can't ask her to open the relationship and he like really wants to. Or there's a lot going on. There's so many layers here, and I don't feel like we have enough information about like the why of the husband. I want to know his why, right? So okay, I could agree with Dr. John on that point where if there's abuse, you're going to want to seek divorce maybe or separation. And then if it's not that, then why aren't we staying with our husband through sickness and in health? It sounds more like Dr. John is convinced. Doesn't that, it feels like he has information we don't have. It feels like he has information we don't have almost. Because I feel like I'm not getting a clear picture of the husband. I can't even imagine him, you know?
Both of those things are true. His pain is very real.
Yeah.
What he's working through alone, if he was here, I would want to hug him and not let go.
Mm. Yeah.
And I would have to be willing to hit for him to say, I don't want to hug you. I don't know you.
Mm.
And
I know that he loves me. I know that he chose to marry me because he loves me. I know that it's not like he's only into men and he's not interested in me. I know that he loves me, that he thinks I'm attractive, but I just think there's such a broken side of him that, yeah, you're right. I'm just not the one that he wants to share it with.
Well, or she's not queer enough or queer affirming enough. Or it does need to be with men, or he does need to be with multiple people, because again, as a queer person myself, and again, I'm not comparing myself to this person we don't know because I don't know what her husband's going through, but if my husband didn't confirm in me my queerness, and look, I'm in a hetero presenting relationship. There is a lot of stigma that comes with that in the queer community. But pansexual and bisexual people exist, and we end up often with opposite sex partners or opposite sex presenting partners because nobody knows my husband's like gender. He could be something else. He could be a lot of things. What if he's not out to the world, but still the world looks at us like this way? What if, well, you guys know he's straight, but like, what if he wasn't? What if he wasn't? You don't know, but you see us and it looks a particular way, and you can make a lot of assumptions that may or may not be true, is what I'm trying to get at, right? You don't know just looking at us, but we know. And I know that there is a stigma, where queer people do kind of hope you end up with, like, I was the first woman ever to come out in my family. I'm the first one to make YouTube videos about it. My borderline is directly because I'm a queer person. Literally, like my therapist is almost positive because I was abandoned as a child or pre-abandoned as a child, right? Because of my gayness. So you can understand that queerness is very important. Now, I'm not saying this guy is the same. I'm not saying he has the same connection. I'm not saying he's not a bad person. I don't know anything about him. But it sounds like this wife isn't as queer affirming as she could be. And I wonder if that could even be the issue. What if she is supportive as a straight woman, but doesn't know how to be reaffirming? Like, I'm really lucky that my partner knows how to be reaffirming in my queerness, even though he's straight. It's like the greatest thing ever, right? And it really, really helps. And again, like, I can't expect everyone to have those tools, like they're from Texas, But it makes me so sad because I wonder if this marriage could have made it if they had gotten tools earlier. But it sounds like this marriage is going towards an end.
And the choosing reality is how you're going to live out of that truth.
Mm.
Which is what? Do I just keep being numb like I have?
No, because the other end of that is you die
Or he dies.
spiritually, emotionally,
Mhm.
relationally, and then eventually you die.
Yeah, and I'm definitely not being the best mom that I can to my kids. And
Ooh.
How many kids do you
I
have?
feel like,
Do you
yeah,
have kids together?
we don't have kids together, no.
Oh.
How many kids do you have?
I have 4.
Oh.
Are
She has 4 children. I did not see that coming.
are they a ringside seat to all this?
Yeah, some of my kids are grown and out of the house now, but
Okay, okay.
I had kids when I was really young.
Okay.
But it hit. They saw it, and they're very protective of mom, and
Mhm.
they have been saying for a long time that this isn't a healthy situation.
Dang.
But
So
I guess I just wanted to make it happen.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, it sounds like the husband needs way better tools than what's being provided and what he's providing himself, but also like I did not see this coming with kids.
is there some commitment you made to yourself that what happened in your first relationship was never going to happen again?
Yeah, I promised myself that I would never not be someone's priority and that I would never get divorced again. And so I don't know what to do when the two things don't work together.
Yeah, you made
Yeah.
yourself
You know what I mean?
a promise that,
Yeah.
yeah, way to go.
I painted myself into a corner.
Yeah,
Mm.
you really did. And that's a hard corner to paint yourself into because you painted you into it, not somebody else, right?
I wish I knew why they chose each other. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Like I want to have all these standards for myself and these boundaries, and I want to be like, my partner is going to respect me and appreciate me and value me and make me their equal, and we're going to be true partners. But then I just allow little behaviors to undermine that, and so I'm just
Allie,
kind of
Allie,
following
these are
them.
not little behaviors.
Yeah.
These are massive fractures in a trusting, loving relationship.
Yeah.
Period.
That's true, but it
Yeah.
starts small.
It does.
And then, yeah, it does.
But these are massive.
Yeah, you're right.
These are massive.
Mm.
And this is in a heteronormative relationship. This is in a gay relationship. This is in all relationships. You got to tell the truth.
Yeah.
You
Right.
got to be a person of fidelity. You can't
Right.
hold these black hole secrets from somebody because when you say I do, they take on those secrets with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is why like lying and cheating and even like it's not that I don't understand why he might feel shamed buying like toys or something, but there's something really nice to be open and honest with your partner, but then you have to have a partner that validates you. If your partner shows disgust and isn't interested in engaging with you in certain things, like you have to be on the same page. It sounds like she's anti-adult entertainment like porn and stuff. And it sounds like her husband is into it, and it sounds like Dr. John is concerned it's an addiction. But either way, they're not even on the same page as that. Like it sounds like they probably went into this marriage without really comparing compatibilities. It sounds like she kind of wanted to rescue him, honestly, maybe, and he wanted to be rescued. I'm surprised she picked him because in the beginning, didn't she say that her relationship from the start was a struggle? Kind of funny that she picked him.
They just
Yeah,
they
and
do.
to the point where he had an incident one time and he had to have something removed from his body, and I took the blame for it. I showed up at the hospital and I said it was me, I did it,
Mhm.
and took that shame from him because I hold that black hole. But I don't think.
Girl, you need to leave this man, girl. This is so interesting. Do you guys watch create no, what's it called? That there's a Netflix show about wealthy Asians, and one of the girls they have a plastic surgery. They're plastic surgery doctors, or one of the husband is, and literally he's the reason they're infertile. And because they're Asian and culturally speaking, like he couldn't be the infertile one, she took on the stigma of being infertile for like 14 years. And he let his family hate her, and they blamed her for not having a son. And I'm sitting here like, if you love your partner, why would you have them take on a stigma of shame? Could you imagine loving your partner so little that you would blame them or have them hold shame that was your shame? That is the most disgusting display I've ever seen from a person. Now, her husband in the show seemed remorseful, and that's their business. But just like in this instance, like how much can you say you love your partner and you respect them and you want to bring dignity to the relationship if you were letting them take on the burden of your crime and you take zero responsibility for it? Get divorced, girl. Leave this man.
I think he does the same for me.
I know he doesn't, because you wouldn't be on this call.
Damn.
And
Yeah,
so
you're right.
one of the, you made yourself a bunch of promises that relied on somebody else's fidelity.
Mm.
And I'm of the opinion, like in faith circles, they talk a lot about like, infidelity is about who you sleep with. So sleeping with somebody that is not, you're not married to. I think you can cheat on somebody with your work. You can cheat on somebody with your golf course. You can cheat on somebody by withholding.
Neglect.
You can with neglect, right? You can cheat on
Neglect.
somebody by vacuuming up all.
I don't consider it cheating, but I do think neglect is one of the most just this like neglect is the biggest mistake. And that's why I think I try to be so aware without, you don't want to run into the other side of it where it's like you're overbearing or something. But I want to be considerate and thoughtful about my partner's needs because I never want him to feel neglected. That's so important to us as a unit is not to neglect one another. And I do think neglect, tiny neglects can eventually lead to big neglects, which eventually just chip at the foundation of your relationship.
All of your internal turmoil, and then when somebody says, "Hey, are you okay?" you just blast them with it.
Mm.
Or the analogy I use is you carry bricks around in your own backpack, and the moment somebody says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa," you smash them with your bricks, your pain.
Oh, and I've done that. I have definitely done that to him.
No, he's done that to you.
Taken a couple of bricks out.
He's done that to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Every time you say, "Hey, what is this?" Bam.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think she probably does need to be held accountable a little bit for maybe not being able to have the conversation with him and also not hold him accountable by setting boundaries with herself. Boundaries she could have set with him, and again, I'm not a therapist. I'm just coming from like a regular person's perspective that has to deal who's had to deal with stuff like this. It takes a great amount of strength to say like, "Hey, I'm feeling uncomfortable in this situation, so if it continues, I have to remove myself. I understand you're going through it. There are avenues that you could take to avoid this situation. Would you like to take them? And if not, that's your business. But I have to remove myself. The boundary's on me. I'm putting it on myself. We don't put boundaries on other people. We put them on ourselves. Hey, if this action continues, I need to remove myself. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you what I need to do to maintain my sanity. And you can't use boundary in a way that like, my boundary is that you have to do the laundry for me. That's not a boundary. That's telling someone to do something for you. Relax. So she's not telling him what to do. She's telling what she needs to do if bad behavior continues. And it sounds like she didn't even do that when they were dating. Because again, didn't she say at the beginning of this relationship she chose him and told him, "I want to be with you through this struggle you're in"? Or was it later, sometime in the relationship in the beginning, right? Didn't she say that? I could be wrong.
I think your path forward is pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Step number one is you make a decision on what love and respect you're going to accept or not
Yes.
accept.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, y'all have had a trial separation. You move back in. You wouldn't be calling me if that move back in was just smooth as silk. It hasn't been, has it?
Mm-mm.
No.
Mm-mm. Not at all.
And so
No.
I think it's time for a very direct, hard conversation, which is the following. You might want to write him a letter because it doesn't sound like he can hear it. It sounds like he goes to war with you and you bring something up. Or you might want to write a letter and read it to him. But you have to have a State of the Union conversation, which is, I committed to you and I said I do. I'm all in. But part of that commitment, part of that fidelity meant no lies, no deception, no bringing other people into our bed,
Mm-hmm.
whether on TV or whether in person.
Okay, that is like a commitment you can make to one another because I personally do exchange porn with my partner, slash we watch porn on our own, slash we're pro all of that like free, like we don't care, we don't consider porn cheating. But for some relationships, like my brother, I have a brother, he's married, it is considered cheating to watch porn. So negotiate with your partner. What does cheating mean to you? Because we don't all work that way, but I get it. I get it, especially with her husband. It seems like more of an addiction and an escapism. So I get it.
That these big mega secrets that are dragging the entire home down
Yeah.
that I promised I would share with you, I have to at least know what we're fighting together.
Mm.
And if you don't trust me enough to be a safe place, then you are choosing with that lack of trust to say, you're not my person.
Mm.
And you are opting out of this,
Yeah.
this unity, this one.
Yeah, see, this is where I agree with this. When you get married and you say in sickness and in health, that's not your like get out of jail card for abuse. Because when you get into a relationship, you're also saying, I'm going to respect you and love you and care for you and put you at the highest dignity. So if you abuse your partner, if you lie, cheat, deceive, do any of these things, right? You're basically opting out of the negotiated relationship. Now, that still doesn't give her permission to then go and cheat and abuse him. They need to break up and separate and divorce. But I think a lot of people in this situation would say, well, if he broke the contract, then the relationship's over. But the relationship's not over till it's over. So I don't want her to then become a villain and go and cheat and like sabotage have your own dignity, divorce him, move on, or separate. When you're separated, I feel like that's a valid time to, unless you're separated to get back together. If you're separated to lead to a divorce, that's when the relationship's like officially over, right? Break up is basically what I'm saying, whatever that means.
And I think you started the call with saying, I will love him to the end of time. I'm with him. He's just not with you.
Yeah.
And I think the ball is in his court as to
Yeah.
whether he says, okay, I'm all in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will tell you the truth. I'll tell you what I struggle with. I'll tell you where my shame lies.
Mm.
And that will be something y'all work through together moving forward.
Yeah, I agree.
But I said this earlier, you can't fix what his mama did.
Yeah.
And you can't co-carry his shame if he won't let you. And you can't.
Look, like your partner's not your therapist either. I don't want our partners to be carrying all of our burdens. What our partners carry is their support for us. And sometimes that support becomes like a really heavy burden, but I don't think I have the right to put my burden on my partner. I only ask that my partner is able to give me a shoulder to cry on when I need it and to support me while I work on my burdens, right?
Can't love him through the hurt he's experiencing, which I know he is, because he won't let you know what the secrets are.
Yeah. He's got to be honest with her.
And I know that feels so lonely, Ellie. And I'm sorry.
Oof. True.
He's really lucky to have you in his life. And my hope is that he takes this moment when you say, hey, this is my line.
Yeah.
This is my line. But I want you to, when you state your boundaries, I want you to be very clear about this. If he walks away from your boundary, he walks away. You didn't fail your marriage.
Right.
You didn't crash your marriage. You didn't choose to fill in the blank again.
Mm-hmm.
He looked at you and said, yeah, I can't go there.
See, Dr. John, he might be a little conservative, religious, but at least he's not telling her to stay trapped in a marriage that's abusive.
I can only go this far in my trust. I can only go this far in my love. I can only go this far in my commitment, but there's a line there. And you're not it.
Yeah.
I can't cross it for you. And then you'll have to live in that reality.
Yeah.
Here's my promise, Allie. I'll walk with you every step of the way.
Yeah.
Man, I'm sorry. This is heavy.
Well, just like that, it's over. Okay, I'm glad I was able to watch the end of that. Generally speaking, don't abuse your partners. Huh? How about that? Apparently, it's a big ask from people, as deception and lies seem to be very casual nowadays. Don't lie to your partners. Do right by them and leave them instead of abusing them. Huh? Or stay committed to the vows you made. whatever those vows were, in a church, in a hall, or in the sanctity of like your bedroom, right? I'm not, when I say your commitment, I don't even mean legally married. You can be committed and never married. But if you make a commitment, I hope the commitment isn't, I'm going to abuse you in this relationship. I hope the commitment is, I will work my hardest to never abuse you. And then when you do, you need to ask yourself why you got here in the first place. I really hope the husband gets help. He sounds like a hot gay mess. And as a one queer to another, it is very hard to be in a world where people don't see you. But it's even harder to be in the world when you don't even see yourself. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Have a great day. Bye.
Stuck in my head, in real life while in bed, my belly's being fed and I'm okay. I'm just fine, yet all I do is whine, not to you in my mind, cause I know I don't make sense. I've been nothing but blessed, so why's my life a mess? Please tell me, cause I'm sick of thinking, yeah, I'm sick of reaching out for the truth and living life as a fool. Dun, dun, dun.